Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. I am your host, Wendy Nystrom. Today's special guest is Jen Levy. So we talked to Jen about a year ago when she was one of the founders of Beverly Hills Community Farm, which is now named City Greens. So welcome back to the show, Jen.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
And absolutely, I love what you're doing. Vertical farming is awesome.
Yeah.
But let's start off with, you were the founder of Beverly Hills Community Farm, and now you've changed the name to City Greens. What happened in the past 6 months?
Yeah, correct. So we had started in January 2020, and then obviously things slowed down for a bit. And starting in 2021, we took over a storefront in Beverly Hills where we were growing in hydroponic towers. And that was amazing. And it was a really great way for us to get people fresh produce who weren't getting produce during the pandemic. So we donated all of our food. We were able to kind of utilize unused space and transform it into something new, which was an amazing kind of first step. But the goal was always to have a shipping container farm and really show people what vertical farming looks like on a big scale. The towers are amazing for home use and even for restaurants, but on a much bigger scale, it's a little more challenging because then you definitely need a lot more space. So the shipping container was always our goal. And it just, as through the pandemic and through research and through everything, we realized that we needed a lot of space for it, right? And we needed space to expand and grow. And so we found an amazing location for our container farm, not in Beverly Hills. And so while we're still doing a ton of work in Beverly Hills, and I'm still very active in the schools there, and all of the things we started originally in Beverly Hills, we're still continuing. But since our container is not actually in Beverly Hills, we felt like it, warranted a name change because we're kind of in a different area, logistically and physically in a different space. And so City Greens kind of encompasses all the things we're still trying to do, and all of our mission, everything is the same, other than our actual physical location for our first container is not in Beverly Hills. That being said, we hope to have many containers over the next handful of years, and Beverly Hills is still a small city, and the goal really is to change the footprint of what food looks like in a small city. So having a container in Beverly Hills and continuing to do work with them is still a huge priority for us. We're just expanding a little bit further, and our container is not there anymore. So we felt like it warranted a little update of our name and kind of our geographic location.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a shame that Beverly Hills couldn't find the space right away, because I think what you guys are doing is amazing. But hopefully they'll come around very shortly. And
so I think it was, what is so exciting and also a little bit frustrating is that this is so new to everybody here, right? People haven't seen them. They don't really understand what we're trying to do. And so some people's brains aren't really able to kind of wrap their heads around what this is actually going to look like and how amazing they really are. So when we say it's a refurbished shipping container with, a room for 8,000 plants, people don't understand what that looks like. Nobody even knows what 8,000 plants look like until you're in it, and it literally feels like, a spaceship full of plants. And so we're hopeful that once we have our first one, that we will be able to work with both the city of Beverly Hills and other cities and the schools and all of that to get another container there. Yes, of course it was unfortunate, but I think that it hasn't slowed us down. And if anything, we know once people see what we're doing and the impact and how we can grow so much food on scale with almost no environmental, negative impacts, I think people are going to, jump on board very quickly.
Oh yeah. I mean, for the start, the shipping container can look beautiful when done correctly. And I know you well enough that you do things correctly. You don't just kind of half-ass it. But also the quality of the food that we are getting. When we first met with you, probably 8 months ago, you talked about the nutrition value that you get when something is freshly picked and delivered that same day or even a day later versus what we get at the supermarkets, which is weeks, if not months old.
Oh yeah. I mean, you had the benefit of getting to taste some of the produce in our hydroponic towers, but it's night and day, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way it tastes, a combination of one, not using soil. So that your plants are getting all of the nutrients that you're putting in the water. And so every time they get water, they're soaking up all those nutrients and vitamins, which in turn goes right back to you. And greens specifically start losing their nutrients once they're harvested. The benefit of some other plants like tomatoes or eggplants or peppers, they they will ripen off the vine. You're not necessarily getting all of the nutritional benefits from that either, but they're not starting to necessarily disintegrate once you harvest them. Greens really do. I mean, they start losing their nutrients right away. And so notice once you get them at the store, a lot of them just don't have that much flavor. You kind of trick your mind into thinking they taste really great, and they probably taste decent, but they don't really taste how they're supposed to. You don't get the bitterness or the sweetness or the pepperiness, of certain greens. And in a, hydroponic growing, you get that literally right away. And again, the benefit of not having soil is that we can harvest and deliver, within an hour, right? So we can really get everything off the shelves and off our grow walls into packaging and get it right out the door. You don't need to put in cold storage. You don't even need to wash it because there's no soil. Obviously, wherever its final place is, we would like them to wash it and clean it and all of that. But since there's no soil, we don't have to do that right in the container. We can kind of send it right away. And so they're really getting the nutrients. And then if you do put it in cold storage, you still have a little bit of time to kind of get those nutrients out of it. But the beauty, and one of the things we want to educate people is if we had these little pop-up farms all over the city, or each restaurant had their own little pop-up farm, you could get on scale the amount of produce you need to run your restaurant or your establishment. And then you could get the benefits of having all of the nutrients, all of the color, all of the freshness right away.
I love the fact you brought up our food system, because it is a bit broken. We have these mass-produced agricultural farms that are producing a lot of food, not very well. There's the fertilizer is petroleum-based, the pesticides are petroleum-based, the soil's not in great health, the water they use, possibly not great. Right. And we do rely on the plant's natural filtration system to work that out, but it's still not perfect.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing is you're saving our soils, because we are running out of soil. Let's just be real, healthy soils. We're running out of water, especially in California. Yeah. And your water, you use a fraction of what a farm would use.
Yeah, about 95% less than traditional farming. And so for 8,000 plants, it's about approximately 20 gallons per week. So that's about 4,000, a little over 4,000 full-size plants, and then about 4,000 in their propagation germination stages. So it's obviously significantly less water than traditional farming. And what the best part of it is that, and again, this is obviously a little bit of a calculation or an estimation of how much water you use, but anything that you're not using in this hydroponic system is then recycled back into the water tank. So anything that is dripping off of the plants back into the chamber at the bottom is going right back into the tank. And so you're also recycling water. We also have kind of a air compressor on the roof of the container that is trying to take as much humidity out of the air, and get as much moisture into the container as possible. So there's, the technology continues to change. And as that happens, we'll continue to be able to save more and more water.
And that technique will severely reduce, if not completely eliminate, the possibility of contamination.
Yeah. I mean, it's a closed loop system. So really you're not letting anything else in there. We'll clean the tank once a month. We'll disinfect it and get, make sure that everything is up and running. And if for some reason something gets in the tank or there's something, you'll be able to tell right away. The plants will tell you what's going on, and then you can fix it right away. Whereas soil farming and outdoor farming, which I love, and that's how I got into this, field, and that definitely is still part of my passion. The plants take a little bit of a while to tell you what's going on, right? And your soil definitely takes a long time to tell you what's going on. So by the time you have by the time you have bugs or your plants aren't looking good, it's a little bit harder to then kind of go back and figure out what's happening. And in the aquaponics system, you can really tell pretty early. The plants are pretty honest with you.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, again, going back to, what was it, even 80 years ago, we had multitudes of independent farmers that would grow food locally and deliver it locally. We shifted from that probably during the 60s, 70s, 80s, shifted to more industrial sized giant farms that would truck things from hundreds of miles away or internationally. And it great in theory, but the execution turned out to be doing more harm than good.
Yeah, definitely. I think we forgot that we're supposed to eat seasonally, right? Here in Los Angeles specifically, we have the benefit of, Mexico being very close, South America obviously not being local, but closer than other places. So we get access to things year round. And there's a reason we don't eat watermelon in the winter or pineapple or things like that, right? Like we don't need the extra sugar. We don't need all these things. We need the iron and the other things from leafy greens and vegetables and things like that. And so I think we forgot that there's a reason why certain things grow at certain times, because we've kind of mimicked it and allowed access to all of that. But again, if something is coming from, 1,500 to 2,000 miles away, it can't be fresh, right? It was either picked too early and then obviously put in a chamber and ripened artificially, it's just not realistic. And I think at some point we switched from, now it's a luxury to buy from a local farmer because the price point is unfortunately a little bit higher. And so it's not accessible to everybody because of the price. So again, in the hydroponics, if we could do this on scale, we could make it, easy for everybody to get access to food at a price that they can afford.
And smaller footprint. I mean, your container gardens, you can stack that. You can make it accessible for everyone to go in. You can you're teaching kids.
We are teaching kids. Yep.
Awesome. And you're providing, I believe, food for the veterans, right?
Yeah. So we're located as part of the Heroes Garden on the Veteran Administration campus here in West Los Angeles, and they already have a community garden. So we're basically an extension of their existing garden, just adding the hydroponics to it. We've already been donating food to the VA since 2021, but part of our goal with both schools and the veterans is to really do some job training and education so that anybody could run these. The benefit is that it's the computer does a lot of the work. It takes a lot of the guessing out of it in terms of the hydration and the nutrients and the pH balance and all of that. So we have a lot of help from technology for it. But then the day-to-day in terms of seeding, harvesting, transplanting, that is a super teachable skill to anyone. And again, these containers, the company, one of the main reasons we chose to go with Farm Box Foods is that the containers are ADA compliant. And so anyone can kind of be in there. You can sit, you can stand, you can move around. There's not a lot of space, but considering you're in a shipping container and there's 8,000 plants, there's a ton of space to kind of do things. And we're in this beautiful location in a space where we can really educate lots of people and show people all the things that we're trying to do.
And I love the fact you brought up the ADA compliant, because most people, when they think of diversity, equity, inclusion, they often forget people that are disabled.
Of course.
They're fully functioning people. They just may have ambulatory issues, meaning they need a wheelchair. And they should have full access to everything that everyone else does. So I love the fact you offer that.
Yeah.
And especially with veterans, I will always support veterans. It's from my personal viewpoint, that would be also a wellness situation. Just be able to grow something, do something, harvest, have a tangible 100%. Hands-on experience.
Yeah, and that's why they started the community garden where we're located. A couple decades ago, really for the wellness piece for veterans. Veterans can rent out a plot. They have access to soil and water and all the things. And so again, we're just expanding on that. So not everybody wants to grow in soil. Not everybody wants to grow, but everybody obviously wants to eat fresh, healthy food. And so we're just kind of an extension of their community garden, introducing the hydroponics. So yeah, it's a great way. And the other amazing thing is at the campus where we're at, they're building housing for, I think, 6,000 to 8,000 people over the next handful of years. So again, these containers could really feed a lot of people with a very minimal footprint. So to train veterans, to train the residents, to show them how to work these is all part of our mission. And then to get schools involved, right? Imagine if we had schools that had containers and then they wanted to donate some of that food back to the veterans or back to other, food banks or shelters or things like that. So the potential is really unlimited. It's been a little bit of a journey for us. So it's hard to believe the containers here, and as of tomorrow, it'll be up and running. But we know that once people see what they can do and just the environmental impact of it, right? Some people are in it for the food, right? The freshness of the food. Some people's passion really lies in sustainability, which is how I got into it, the combination of both. And so we really can kind of meet most people's needs on what they're interested in. And so, there's also a whole, marketing outreach, like meeting with restaurants, things like that. So there's literally a little bit of everything for everyone who wants to get involved, which was part of our goal. We really wanted to create a community around farming. Yeah. And that doesn't exist in Los Angeles, really. There's obviously not that many farms, but it does exist in other places. And so that was always our goal, to really create a space and a community around food with a little bit of something for everybody.
community is often based around food. We have communal
Yes.
dinners, you know,
Yeah.
getting together with family. That's a big deal. But you need like 100 of these because we are running out of soil. We're running out of usable soil.
Yeah.
We keep contaminating what we got.
Yes.
Another story. But also, if we can do 8,000 plants on 20 gallons of water a week, this is a no-brainer, folks. We need more of these everywhere for fresh, healthy food for everyone.
Yeah.
So, Jen, how can people find you? How can they donate? How can they get involved? How can they volunteer?
Great. All of those things are available on our website, which is citygreensfarm.org. And you can email me, Jen, at citygreensfarm.org as well. We're on both Facebook and Instagram, City Greens Farm, all the places we're at. And again, this is going to be the first of many. So as you said, we would love 100 more, right? So we know once people see this, any donation, volunteer information, you can just shoot me an email, and it's all available on our website also. And as we get the container up and running, again, starting tomorrow, we'll update our calendar for open houses and events and our ribbon cutting and a space for you to come see what we're doing.
You know, we need to take the power back of how we get our food, how we grow our food, how we have access to food.
Everyone deserves healthy food. Really, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? Just like we all deserve fresh, healthy water, we all deserve fresh, healthy food. And so I think this kind of helps in both, right? We're saving water in a lot of ways, and we're kind of saving the land, and we're also providing a lot of healthy food.
And healthy people, healthy children, people are going to grow. I mean, this is all connected, folks. We're all connected.
We are.
So Jen, thank you so much for your time today. I love what you guys are doing. Guys, check them out. City Green Farm. It's amazing what you guys are doing. You're right now at the Veterans Park here in Los Angeles, but I know you're going to grow. I know you're going to have 100 more of these.
First of many.
First of many, because we need this.
We do. We do. And again, people are going to be blown away. It really does. I really describe it as a spaceship filled with plants, but it's hard to not kind of feel happy when you're inside. Really, it's, you know, it's a beautiful space. And so I think once people see the first one, there's going to be, hopefully, you know, in my soul, I believe there's going to be a long list of people who want to get involved and help us get more. Because again, if we could feed in one container, they say it's the equivalent over a year of 2.5 acres of outdoor growing. And so that's a crazy footprint that we're not taking up with the amount of food we could grow. So if we could do that all over the city, that really is our goal, and really to teach other people how to do it, right? We don't need to be in charge of all of them. We want to teach you and have you run your own, and everyone have fresh food. I
love it. So not even a selfish process. No. You are willing to help everyone. I love that.
We are.
Well, thank you for your time today, Jen. This is amazing work you're doing. Please come back, give us updates frequently, because you guys are growing rapidly.
We are.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is awesome to see this happen.
Thank you so much.
Doing the right thing. That's all we need. Doing the right thing, folks. So we'll catch you later. I'm Wendy Nystrom, Environmental Social Justice with Jen Levy. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.